We welcome you to Kuntz Stadium for another edition of Indianapolis Alleycats Ultimate Action, and tonight they take on the Madison Radicals in a game that has huge implications for the postseason in the Central Division. Along with Kelsey Sparks, I'm John Herrick. Thank you so much for being with us on this Saturday night. First, before we get into the teams, Kelsey, let's just discuss how important this matchup is for both of these teams, starting with Madison.
On the road to championship weekend, tonight has major playoff implications. With a win tonight, the Radicals would solidify the head-to-head tiebreaker against the Alleycats. The Radicals are currently sitting in second place for the Central Division, which would mean they would host a playoff game, and home field advantage is nothing to scoff at.
And with the Radicals, what are some of the things that they do well and what they want to continue to do as we go forward here?
Well, the forecast looks a little choppy, so one of the things Coach Spiro's focused on is managing the weather if that rain comes into play. Last week against the Union, the D-line scored 7 breaks in a really rainy game, so they're primed and ready to go if that happens again. And they need to apply pressure to the Alleycat handlers. It's no secret that the Alleycat handlers have struggled this season, especially those D-line handlers, so if they can keep the pressure hot, they will stand a great chance to win this game.
Anthony Gutowski named a player to watch this week for Madison. He's in his 4th year with the Radicals. He has scored 6 goals against the Alleycats this year.
Anthony Gutowski is a problem every single time he comes to town. The Alleycats have not been able to find an answer for him. He scored 5 goals against the Cats the last time he was in Kuntz Stadium here in Indianapolis. So even though he has switched over to the D-line, still look for him to have a huge game tonight.
And for the Indianapolis Alleycats, 2-4, coming off that win against Chicago, what do they have to do this evening?
The Alleycats are very focused on running their system. They said, we know what we have to do. We need to play our game and win on our own power, and they need to capitalize on their break chances. John, last week they really struggled to capitalize on break opportunities, and that's the reason that Chicago was able to stay in the game so late.
And then, of course, Seth Gudeman, who was one player that assistant coach Jalen Baumgartner raved about to us in the pregame.
Absolutely raved about it. Jalen said that no one wants it more than Seth does, that he has been a phenomenal leader, and he sets a high precedent and brings his teammates up to the level that he's at. He's been a fantastic captain for the Alleycats this year, and he leads the team in goals this season, so look for him to have a large game tonight. He had 5 goals the last time these two teams played each other in Madison on June 14th.
And he has 7 total in the 2 prior meetings against Madison. Of course, the big story coming in, Madison has won the previous 2 meetings over Indianapolis by 1 point each in both of them. And the Alleycats are trying to buck that trend tonight, trying to keep their playoff hopes of getting a top 3 seed in the Central Division. And maybe if they can continue to play well, maybe win tonight and then win against the Radicals when you play them again, so that way it's 2-2 and you wash out the tiebreaker and you have a chance at getting second in the Central Division, because it looks right now like the Minnesota Wind Chill have that 1 seed locked up. You're looking at the Madison Radicals right there. Mitchell McCarthy will be doing the opening pull for them. He's in his 4th year with the Radicals. 3 assists, 3 goals, and 3 blocks for him on the season, and he has had 1 block against the Alleycats. You heard Kelsey talk about the weather. We've had some inclement weather moving in across Indiana over the last several days. That certainly has been a big part of the story. It's 80 degrees under a cloudy sky. We could see rain during the game. If we don't, it's probably going to happen a little bit after the game, and then that's setting up for what is supposed to be a very warm and hot week across the state of Indiana, and for a good chunk of the Midwest for that matter. So Madison and Indianapolis ready for this Central Division matchup. These 2 teams meeting for the 3rd time this year, and then both of these teams will play each other again on July 3rd at Madison. So still a lot of action to get sorted out before we see who is going where for the UFA playoffs.
Madison definitely hoping to make it to championship weekend, which will be on their home turf at Breese Stevens Field. This game will have huge implications for the playoffs.
Also, both these teams have a lot of players out as the disc goes out of play there. 13 players are either out or not rostered on Madison, and 15 players are either out or not rostered for various reasons for the Alleycats. So if you're watching an Alleycat game tonight going, Who are some of these guys? Well, because of some of the other playmakers that are not available tonight, we are going to see a lot of younger Alleycats get some action. So bringing it up to the brick to get the initiating offense in play, Max Squires. And he's a 5'9" handler with 2 assists on the year. And the Alleycats hope to get things started with a score. We talked to the coaching staff as Cam Brock's got it now, being shadowed by Jeff Mascalunas. Now Gudeman comes down with it. Gudeman going for it all, looking at Carson Chamberlain. Chamberlain makes a nice play, and he is in. Nice start for the Alleycats as they take a 1-0 lead.
And a nice start to this season for Carson Chamberlain is tonight as his season debut for the Alleycats. He'd been struggling with a wrist injury, and this is the first time he's been cleared to play, making his impact felt immediately.
His nickname is Cars. Well, Cars had quite a bit of wheels on that play.
Good one.
Fans are excited. Frisbee's out, the Alleycat mascot. Chamberlain heads over to an excited sideline. You'll see some of the players wearing jerseys that say compete. That's been a hallmark of what Coach Nathan Busberg has been saying all throughout this year, and even before the season started. It's like compete. We have to do everything we can to compete at the highest level, and that's what they're just all about. Jeremiah Branson with the pull for the Cats, and now it's Madison's first crack at it. One thing that helped the Alleycats was that starting field position that they had, bring the disc up to the brick, but now Madison's got to start deeper in their own zone. Coming over to get this, Ian McCoskey, one of the Radical handlers. Nico Rabinot with it. He's in his 5th year with Madison. What a year he's had. 17 assists and 7 goals, but the throw is errant. However, coming down with it, Madison's able to preserve the possession. Cat Nation was on its feet thinking they might have a turnover. Low throw, and Branson almost dug that one out, but the Radicals evade disaster. Sjostrom's got it. Pitches it to Vordic. Gabe Vordic now over to the end zone, and Madison avoids that turnover, and they are able to come down and get their opening goal of the evening. And this time it was for them. Jack Nelson in his 5th year with Madison. That is his 10th goal of the year.
I can't believe the Radicals were able to save that turnover. Matthew M. thinks he has it. He starts to run downfield, and I'll be honest, my eyes go downfield too. I was going to see where the Alleycats set up on offense. Vordic absolutely comes out of nowhere to save that one, and the Radicals able to punch it in for the hold.
So Gabe Vordic has been a problem for the Cats this year too. In his 3rd year with Madison, he has scored 2 goals against the Cats and had 6 assists. He has 6 goals on the year, but he's known for sharing the disc well. He's got 12 assists on this season. So now the Radicals getting ready to give the disc back to Indianapolis, and we'll see what they do. And the pull done this time by John Tan, who is seeing his first action of the season for Madison. He had 1 goal and 1 assist last year. A little bit of a bumble on the disc there. Squires is in trouble with it. Now Carter Hawkins able to come over and get it. So Carter's available, but Elliot Hawkins not available tonight. Same thing with Spencer Hawkins. So you only have 1 of the 3 Hawkins available tonight for the Alleycats. Jake Felton acted like he might throw it deep, but opted for the shorter pass. Brock with it now. He's able to get it to Chamberlain. Chamberlain's always been a savvy veteran in this league, even with Detroit. I know Detroit didn't get the results they wanted, a few winless seasons, but Chamberlain made a lot of good plays for them nonetheless.
There's one of his old Detroit teammates too, Felton with the disc.
Getting it to Gudeman, now finds Brock. Brock might have an open for a second. It was Chamberlain cutting through. The disc goes off the hands of one Alleycat into the hands of Gudeman, trying to go to Chamberlain, and the disc sails wide. So the Cats had an opportunity. It looked like they might lose it. They got it back, and ultimately now a break chance for Madison.
That's what Ultimate players like to call the conservation of greatness.
But then it's taken away. Jake Felton gets it in the end zone for a Callahan. What a job by the Alleycats. Felton sneaking out of nowhere to surprise Madison.
You don't get to see Callahans very often in Ultimate. That is a huge play for the Alleycats there. Getting that hold, Jake Felton coming out of nowhere for the Callahan. I can't wait to watch this one back.
So there you see the play from Gudeman trying to find Chamberlain, but the disc a little bit wide. Of course, there was the celebration by Jake Carrico. He felt great about it, but then Jake Felton right there stepping in to get a huge score for Indianapolis, and they regain the lead.
You know, not a clean hold, but a hold that will really hype up the crowd and the team. You love to see a Callahan. Those are rare. I think that's the first one we've gotten to call this season here at Kuntz Stadium.
I think it's the first Callahan I've called in a couple of years. I don't think I've had one since there was one at Westfield. That is right. But that was a while ago. But Callahans are fun. I think they should be worth more than one personally. But long throw down the field. And it's knocked away. The Cat defense really came on strong, especially to the end of that game against Chicago last week, and getting the swat away there. David Cox, one of the cutters for Indianapolis. He's 5'10". He was born in Indianapolis, raised in Ohio, but he's got a lot of family members here, and I'm sure they are thrilled to see that. Now it's Tyler McCarthy with the disc with a double team. Risky throw, but the Cats are able to maintain possession. There was some contact there, and I think we might see a foul on Madison. Yep. Of course, this is a no-contact sport, so if you make contact, that is a foul. And the Cats get to move the disc up, so Robert Davenport gets it back in. Davenport's in his element tonight. He's been kind of on the fringe of getting playing time. We've seen him a little bit low throw, but he comes up with the disc here. So
doing a good job quarterbacking this point for the Alleycats.
McCarthy gives it back to him. Throw that's high, but Pollard comes down with it. James Pollard, certainly a UFA veteran, played in 6 years with Philly. He's got 2 goals and 4 blocks on the season.
I got to chat with him before the game tonight when I first got here and he was warming up. He said the Alleycats were feeling confident and he expected to get the win tonight.
Cats trying to take a 2-score lead, trying to get up. Remember last week against Chicago, they were trying to get that lead to 3 or higher, and that was a challenge for them until the 4th quarter. They got a guy open. In fact, they had 2 of them open in the end zone, and it's Pollard who comes down with it, and it's now 3-1 Indianapolis. So James Pollard made a nice catch earlier, and then he gets that one there.
That's a big break for Indianapolis to start this one early in the first. Coming off the back of that D from David Cox. David making his season debut for the Alleycats. And I really liked what I saw from that offensive possession from the Alleycats D line. They were a lot more patient with the disc than they were last week. They made it to open hands on every throw. Of course, finding Pollard there in the end zone. So thus far, Pollard's predictions about the game are right with the Alleycats up.
Pollard just got his 3rd goal of the season, of course his first of the night. And he is a cutter, and boy does he cut well and always seems to find the open spot on the field to get open. Jeremiah Branson with the pull, and it's a pretty good one. Settles down deep in the Madison zone where it lands in the hands of Kelson Alexander. Jason Kemp out there for the Alleycat defense, along with Connor Concannon, Sam Ingham, too. Coming to get it near side, picked up by Noah Peterson. He's in his 2nd year with Madison. He scored 1 goal on the year. Jeff Mascalunas with it. Cats putting some good pressure on. There's Matthew M., number 41 in green, who's in his 1st year in the UFA. So getting to see some playing time. Throw down the field. Caught. Did he hang on? Yes, he did. It was a really good throw and an even better catch. Mitchell McCarthy comes down with that one to get his 4th goal of the season.
Good job there from the Radicals O-line, getting that nice, clean hold. Kind of a breath of fresh air there after getting broken on the point before. McCarthy gets in for the score, and Radicals looking to get a break back now.
I think really the number, of course, is 1, right? I mean, Indianapolis loses 2 games to Madison by 1. They had 1-point leads so much in those first 2 meetings, as another look there at the McCarthy score. But Madison, they've got a lot of continuity on their staff, which helps. I mean, you got your head coach, Jacob Spiro, and then the former head coach, Tim DeBile, is now one of the assistants who's helping him out. Spiro telling us before the game tonight, those two have worked together in some capacity along the way as head coach or assistant. They've got a great rapport. It's been part of the reason Madison's been tough to deal with.
I think he said 13 years they've been coaching together.
Always good to have that kind of continuity. Also, Sofian Bontam is in the game for the first time, a 6'1" cutter for the Alleycats. He's played in limited action. He wears number 97 in green and has the disc now. We've played less than 7 minutes, but this first quarter moving pretty quickly. Alleycats with the disc, trying to go back up 2. Bontam comes down to get that one. Fakes a couple times. Now the stall count getting high. The throw a little bit wide, laying out. Nope. It looked like Jake Felton might have a try at it, but the disc was just a little bit long, and now Madison with a chance to tie it.
That is a really tough throw there, just to keep it on the gutter down the sideline, a same third huck, if you will. So that is a tough window to find. Cats not able to punch it in.
And Madison, sensing how things are going, they're calling a timeout. They're deep in their own zone. They're down by 1. It is immediate timeout with 5:05 to go in the first quarter. It's a 3-2 lead for the Alleycats. You're watching Ultimate Action on Watch UFA TV. Some Alleycat fans enjoying things, waving the colors. There's Frisbee, the Alleycat mascot, enjoying the night, trying to lead the Alleycats to victory. Madison with the disc out of the timeout, deep in their own zone. Of course, Alleycats with 1 Callahan already tonight, but Madison's able to get out of it. But did the Cat defense get down there? Nope, not quite in time. Jason Kemp had the right idea, but mistimed the jump a little bit, and Madison's able to catch it, but was he in the end zone? No, he was just outside of it, so now he's got to throw it in. Does Eric Sjostrom to the back line, caught, and we are tied at 3. So Madison, that was a good timeout utilized by them, and it's Max Sample catching his 13th goal of the season.
Yeah, big break there for the Radicals to get this game back on serve. They got that break back that the Alleycats had against them earlier. So I like the timeout call there. Get the O-line on the field and make sure to capitalize on that opportunity, because you never know how many break chances you're going to get.
Well, and also, Kelsey, how much is this a factor when you have so many veteran players? Isaiah Mason, by the way, out there wearing number 20. He was questionable coming into tonight. That's good news for the Alleycats to see him out there. But when you are the Alleycats in this situation, you've got so many veterans that are not here. How is that going to impact the way things are going?
You know, the Alleycats are adamant that they believe in their roster from top to bottom. We asked Coach Jalen Baumgartner, assistant coach Jalen Baumgartner, before the game, who was going to be the next man up, if you will. And she said, you know, I'm not going to shout out any individual player because we believe in our roster. We are very deep, have a deep roster. We're confident in every player on this team. So expect the level of competition to rise all the way across the board.
There's Coach Nathan Busberg trying to get his team as focused as possible. Alleycats have 21 players on their roster under contract through the 2027 season, 20 through the 26 season. So, of course, there's always some turnover from year to year. Radicals at this point have all of their players pretty much under contract through the end of this season, and then they look like they'll reassess after this year. But again, a lot of the guys that have been a part of Madison, they restructure things after the year is over, and they tend to come back. As John Tan with the pull, it's usually Carter Hawkins coming down with it, and he gets it up the field and finds Max Squires. Threads the needle to Felton. It's always been a battle between these two teams, not even just this year, but going back for a long time. Two of the franchises in the UFA that have been around the longest. Brock takes that disc away, nearly had it poked away from behind. Now Gudeman's got it. And was he fouled? Yes. Anthony Gutowski was trying to go for the steal, but got part of Gudeman's arm. So the Cats get to move the disc up. And Gudeman able to get it down there to Squires. Squires might have Chamberlain open. He does. And it is Carson Chamberlain, who hadn't played at all this year, and now in the first quarter of this key Central Division game has 2 scores.
And what a key game for Carson Chamberlain to be able to make his season debut. The Alleycats have really missed him this season as he was dealing with a wrist injury. So great to have him back on the field. Couldn't be better timing for Indianapolis, who's missing 10 players that they've been playing consistently in the rotation this season. So Carson Chamberlain with his second, and he's making his impact felt early.
And he beats Jake Carrico on that play. Carrico has been a pretty good defensive player and an even better passer. He has 10 assists on the year and 2 blocks, but that disc was thrown in such a spot where Carrico did not really have a chance to block it. And Branson once again with the pull.
Jeremiah Branson and his wife Emily announced recently that they're expecting their first child.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's here in the stands watching.
A lot of Cat Nation is out there. Stall count getting high. Matthew M playing some pretty good defense. Now it's Connor Concannon defending this time. And there's some contact made on accident by M as he was trying to go for the disc and ends up running into the player he was guarding, which Alexander. So the Radicals get to move it up, and now Gabe Vordick initiates things. Vordick, a very heady player for Madison, as we saw earlier by that save he had, which led to a Madison score. Grabbed by Sjostrom, low throw, dug out by Vordick. Here comes the double, but he patiently finds Sjostrom, who's in his second year with Madison, but he has 14 assists and 3 goals. However, that pass doesn't go his way. Now the Cats with a chance to capitalize with under 3 minutes to play in the first. Jason Kemp's got it. Faking, looking, firing, and it is Connor Blaylock who gets that. Then a throw by the disc. It just does not go on point, and now Madison has an opportunity. Not the throw that Jake Wall was hoping for. I'm sure he'd love to have that one back. Madison with another chance to tie it. They got a man in the end zone wide open, and it is caught for the Madison score. So what a turn of events there, as getting in this time, Pierre Robert, who's in his 3rd year with Madison, his 28th goal of the year.
Robert having an awesome season. He is in 6th place for the league for goals scored this season, and he has more games remaining than anyone else on the top 10. So if he keeps playing the way that he has been, he could contend for most goals in the UFA. And past that, he also leads the Radicals with blocks this season. He came into the game with 11. So great player on both sides of the ball.
Cats about to get the disc back. First quarter action. Cats are 2-4. Radicals 4-3. And there is the throw by Alexander. And it rolls out of play. But it went out of the back of the end zone, so the Cats have to initiate it. Throw was a little bit wide, but Brock comes down with it. Now Felton, who's going for a hook try to Bontom, who's trying to chase the disc down, and he does! Sophie-M Bontom with a heck of a run down the field, and the Cats with a quick score to answer the Radicals.
That is a really tough throw and a tight window to hit. Jake Felton puts it perfectly. I didn't think that Sophie-M was going to be able to get there, but he really puts on the afterburners at the end, and the Cats make a quick work of that hold.
And it was Pierre and Robert that he beat, and Robert's doing all he can, but Sophie Bontom with great speed.
Robert likely trying to bait that throw to go up because it is such a tough throw, but Jake Felton just puts it up perfectly. And wind really not a factor right now. There's a lot of dead air. I know we mentioned that some rain could be rolling in later, but right now it is just dead air, sticky, humid, so the disc is not going to deviate very much on its flight path.
Only seeing wind at about 6 miles an hour at the moment. So James Pollard with the pole this time. Radicals trying to decide who was going to come down with it. Now they do. Almost a layout there and a steal as Robert Davenport went flying in there for the Cats. Nico Ranabat with it. Now gets the disc to McCoskey. Back to Ranabat with Hawkins in front of him. Disc floating. Pollard almost had it, but brought down by Noah Nickel. Low throw. The disc is grabbed. I think it might have hit in the ground, but after it was caught.
Close.
Very close. Radicals have had a lot of close calls here so far. McCoskey looking for some help. Throws it towards the end zone. It's curling back into play. It's tipped up and the Alleycats have it. Ingham able to come down with it. Now the Cats trying to hurry with less than a minute to play in quarter number 1. And I think we are seeing Nathan Busberg call a timeout. Yep, using one of his 2 timeouts in the half to try to get the right line that he wants out there. But a good job by Sam Ingham using that height of his. What a job he just did. He's going to graduate from Butler soon. He's got the nickname Tom Brady, and if you see him up look, you'll see exactly why. He looks very similar to Tom Brady there.
Yeah, Sam has been a fantastic player for the Alleycats, still so young, so much of his career ahead of him. And I liked the discipline there from the Alleycats D-line as they did some quick little dink and dunk back and forth passes. You saw Noah Wall, who's making his season debut tonight, got involved and helped steady that possession until Coach Busberg called the timeout to put the O-line on the field, make sure to capitalize on this break opportunity. Again, last week against Chicago, the Alleycats really struggled to capitalize on break opportunities, but I believe they only punched in 1 until the 4th quarter when Xavier Payne just took over the offense, the D-line offense, rather.
Yeah. And both teams right now on break chances here in the first quarter, 1 out of 5. Alleycats hoping to make it 2 out of 6. Hawkins with the hammer throw to the other side. Bontom is there. Bontom trying to get to the end zone, and it's knocked away. And the steal for Madison. So they have a break chance to end the quarter.
That's Anthony Gutowski. That's our player to watch, doing exactly what we expect down in the deep space.
Carrico. He looks for the end zone. He might have a teammate there, but the disc is taken forever, and it's swiped away. So Bontom, who gave up the score or gave up the disc on the previous play, comes up to knock it away. Goodeman puts it back in play with 15 seconds remaining. Cats have got to hurry. 10 seconds, and the disc was, I don't know where Jake Felton was looking at that. The disc rolls out of bounds, and what do we have?
Looks like a timeout from Madison to put their O-line back on the field. I don't know what Felton was looking for to develop downfield. I mean, he's got the arm to sling it from end zone to end zone, but when you have 17 seconds remaining, you know, you have time to get another pass off, need to kind of get it at least another 20 yards up or so that most guys on the field will have the arm to get it to the end zone after that. So I don't know, just kind of got caught looking, maybe not enough developing downfield. Regardless, Radicals with a chance to clean this up, 7 seconds to go. That's enough time for a couple passes. So anxious to see what kind of play Coach Jacob Spyro calls over in the huddle.
I think this would be like the 5th quarter total that the Alleycats have had a 1-point lead on Madison if we go into the second quarter with a 1-point lead for Indy. I mean, that's how often that's happened throughout the season between these two squads. So Madison to put the disc in play. Again, the disc floating up there, grabbed by Nelson, going towards the end zone. Pollard is there. So are a whole bunch of other people, and it's tipped up and knocked away. Well done by the Alleycats to hold on the defensive side to end the first quarter. After 1, Indianapolis 5, Madison 4. Second quarter comes your way next on Watch UFA TV.
Any key adjustments you'd like to make for the second half?
Well, I'm not going to tell you, Evan.
Come on, we're so close.
But I do want to tell you how we can work together and build towards the results you want. I'm Charlie Hoppes, and I've coached Ultimate for 2 decades at all levels,
Including now consulting with your Indianapolis Alleycats.
If you're a player, coach, or team at any level, I can help you achieve your goals. Sign up for a free call to see if my services match your needs.
Best damn drink in the world.
Alleycats 5, Madison 4, downtown Indianapolis at Kuntz Stadium. It's great to have you with us for this very important Central Division matchup. You've got the Alleycats that are 2-4, Madison 4-3. They're second in the division, and everybody's looking up to, of course, the Minnesota Wind Chill, who are considered the #1 team in the entire UFA, and with good reason, because they are often playing on championship weekend. But the Alleycats and the Radicals playing tonight in this matchup, Kelsey, both without some key players, but we're also seeing some young contributors step up and make some key plays.
Yeah, Radicals without 4 notable starters and the Alleycats without 10, but both teams confident in the depth of their roster and say that that is not going to be a factor tonight. Major playoff implications in this game, as the Radicals could seal the deal on the head-to-head tiebreaker against the Alleycats if they get the win tonight. These teams will play 4 times in the regular season. The Radicals have taken the first 2 by 1 point each. So some super tight games between these two. This is a revenge game for the Alleycats.
James Pollard will do the poll. So far, the turnovers in favor of Madison, or rather Indianapolis. Madison with 6 turnovers, but Indy with 5. 4 blocks by the Indianapolis defense so far to just 1 for Madison. Radicals trying to tie this thing up. Ian McCoskey with M right on him. Matthew M, first action this year for the Alleycats. You can tell he's really an active defender.
An active defense is something that the coaching staff has been preaching. Coach Busberg told us last week he wanted more effort from his defensive line, more effort on the marks, and more effort downfield.
He's also said throughout the year, offensive creativity, defensive unity. And when this Alleycat defense is unified, they are tough to stop. And that's pretty good defense being played there by Jake Wall. And what do we have? Traveling called on Madison. Okay, so Madison's going to have to back the disc up. Got to give a lot of credit there to Jake's defense. Jake Wall with 1 block so far this year. He's in his 4th year with the Cats. Hasn't gotten as much playing time as some of the other guys, but when he's gotten in, you can tell he's really been active on defense, and he's on defense yet again, trying to maybe initiate another travel call.
Yeah, Jake is still very young, just a junior in college.
A lot of guys on the Cats are like that, either in college or about to graduate from college. Catch near the goal line. Radicals got to try to get it across here. The throw and the catch. Was he out of bounds?
I believe the whistle was going to be a foul on the mark, but it doesn't matter because the Radicals get the score.
Yep. So it's Ian McCoskey who gets it. And one of the players, I looked like maybe the Alleycats had a player shaken up.
We're all tied up 5-5.
All right.
Looks like everybody's all right. So point's going to stand, and the Radicals tie it back up at 5. Yeah, it looks like Gudeman just fouls Nico Ronabat there, but they get the score, so that point's going to stand.
5 goals for Madison, all by 5 different players. McCoskey, Robert, Sample, McCarthy, and Nelson. Goal scorers tonight for Indianapolis. Chamberlain has scored twice, and then Felton, Pollard, and Bontom have each scored one. So this game's been taking on a little bit of a similar nature that we saw last week when they played Chicago, did the Cats. Madison, of course, hanging tough. Cats about to get the disc back. And there's the pull by Vortic. Carter Hawkins bobbles it.
Oh, you hate to see that. That's going to be a turnover because he touches the disc, doesn't catch it, so the Radicals get to pick it up on the goal line.
Rare miscue on that. Now the Alleycat defense has to take advantage. Robert, well, able to find his man in, and the Radicals have their first lead of the night. It's Kelson Alexander.
And the Radicals capitalize on that costly mistake from the Alleycats. Dropping the pool doesn't happen very often, but it does happen to everybody at some point. It happens to the best of them. So you know Carter Hawkins is incredibly upset with himself on that. Just kind of thinking about the next throw before he saw the disc all the way in. Again, we've all been there if you've played Ultimate for very long, but Radicals capitalize on it. Kelson Alexander gets, and they get a break and their first lead. You can see Coach Busberg not happy with his O-line on that one. Looks like the same O-line taking the field, though, so they'll get another crack at it.
There's Kelson Alexander with the pull. Comes down into the hands of Squires. Hawkins able to find Cam Brock. Brock had nowhere to go with it, so he had to get it back to Hawkins. Madison's been playing some pretty good defense on Cam. Gudeman slides over to get that. Bontom looking. Now he throws it back to the other side and finds Squires. Squires going deep. Hawkins might be there, and he is as he inbounds. Yes! Alleycats needed a deep throw and score, and they get it, and what a job there by Carter Hawkins.
A great cut there from Carter Hawkins. He's been handling all game and really running the show back behind the disc, but he bolts deep, and he has the speed to do it. Able to make quick work of that Alleycats hold. Get the score tied again. There's Carter on the sideline.
Yeah, like you said there, Kelsey, him initiating the offense, 130 throwing yards, taking instruction from Coach Busberg. Both teams have now turned it over 6 times in this first half and have struggled to capitalize on break chances. Madison 2 out of 7 and Indianapolis 1 out of 6.
If I give you a mic, will you sing? Ah, come on.
And James Pollard with the pull for Indy. Trying to pin Madison back deep in their own zone.
And the Radicals are the team in the UFA this season with the 3rd fewest holds, as they are averaging just under 12.5 holds per game. O-line looking pretty good tonight, though.
Davenport got a piece of that disc one time. Tyler McCarthy's out there playing defense here. McCoskey slides over to get that. Needs some help. Gabe Vortic trying to make himself available, but he goes to the other side. Now the disc ends up in the hands of Nelson. Nelson got the first goal of the game for Madison. Madison trying to be patient with it here. Over towards the sideline, caught in play by McCoskey. Mason guarding him tightly. Cats pretty much have everybody covered downfield. Noah Nichols got it.
Got to be really tight if you're playing person defense today. Again, win not a factor yet.
Ingham's trying to get back there on defense. He lays out, but it's too late. And the Huck try executed perfectly by the Radicals, and coming down with it yet again, Jack Nelson, his 2nd goal this evening and 11th of the year.
I think one of the first sentences out of his mouth was,
They call him Sonny, and he has been a staple for the Madison Radicals for some time now. As we get another look at the clean hold from Madison.
And yeah, Ingham did all he could there to lay out and get it, but just a step late. But you just think when Ingham gets down there, he's got a great chance at getting it.
Yeah, he has the size and the speed, great positioning when he is on defense there. So just a great play from Madison.
John Tan puts it in play. Pull rolls to Squires. So Coach Busberg has clearly moved Squires back deep to get the pull. Disc is errant, does not go into Felton's hands, and a turnover for the Cats. Radicals try to capitalize. Contact made. Looks like we have a foul on the Cats, and I think what he's trying to argue is that he was. Yeah,
I think Jake Felton's upset at that one. Said there was some flopping.
Yeah, well, and it felt like that guy leaned into him too. Throw over, and it's caught in play right near the sideline, and Madison starting to build their lead, and that is Shane Otis, who just is commonly known as Oat among his teammates, but Oat comes up with a big goal there.
That's another break for Madison as they capitalize on the Alleycats' error. Otis with the sliding grab to put the exclamation point on that one. And tensions were starting to get a little bit high on that point because the Alleycats did not like the foul call. Jake Felton was complaining to the referee, but the Radicals make quick work of that possession and punch it in. Another break for the Radicals.
They have outscored Indianapolis here in the second quarter 4-1. In the first quarter, the Alleycats either led or were tied with Madison, but they had a couple of opportunities to go up 2, couldn't do it. Now they're down 2. Again, they have 15 players either not rostered or out tonight. And throw there by Wall off target, tried to get to Pollard. Now another break chance for the Radicals.
Just didn't have the right shape on that disc as it was trailing OI instead of IO away from Pollard. Another break opportunity for Madison, and this would really hurt the Alleycats if they could string together 3 breaks so closely together in this quarter. That being said, last week against the Union, half of the Radical scores were breaks. They had 7 in their 14-11 win.
Well, there's a foul there on the Cats. It's getting very physical and chippy out there. We're seeing double teams, guys going after the disc, doing all they can. Matt Grindy's got it. Grindy's in his 4th year with Madison. He's got Pollard right on him. Able to find Alexander. Grindy near the goal line. Getting it back out to one of his teammates, Cunningham. And they are able to get it in for another score for Madison. It's Gutowski, Anthony Gutowski with his first score of the evening, and Madison is rolling right now.
Gutowski's our player to watch tonight as we get another look at that disc that just is too far out of Pollard's reach. Radicals able to capitalize on it. That's their 3rd break this quarter, and they're starting to really run away with it here.
All right, we're at a media timeout. We'll take it with them. You're watching Ultimate Action on Watch UFA TV.
Turn enemies into daily beloved.
Well, Coach Nathan Busberg trying to find some answers right now. His Alleycats controlled a good chunk of the first quarter, led by 1, but so far here in the second, they have now been outscored 5-1. Along with Kelsey Sparks, I'm John Herrick. And Kelsey, the Cats about to get the disc back. What do they got to do to get things back in their favor here?
Well, the O-line is only holding at 50% right now, only 5 holds out of 10 chances, so that is not a great number. You expect your O-line to hold, let's say at least 75% of the time to be competitive in a game because, they get to start with the disc. They don't have to work to take it away, so Alleycats need to clean up some things on offense, see the disc into open hands, stop trying to force things, take a deep breath, throw to the open receiver.
Cam Brock going to the other side, tipped away. I'm actually surprised the foul call wasn't made there because Shane Otis just ran into Squires. I mean, yeah, the disc was dropped, but there was also contact. Given the way they've called things, they surprised they didn't call one there.
Honestly, great effort play there from Otis, though. I mean, Squires had the positioning, but Otis just tried so much harder, got through it. And the Radicals are rewarded with another break opportunity.
Flying up to get the disc there, Max Younga in his second year with Madison. 2 goals for him this season. Being chased, knocked away, and then what do we have? Is it a stall count?
And that is a stall.
Yep, stall count on Madison. So you don't often see that, but that gives the Alleycats the disc back. Boy, that's a huge moment for Indy. They're still looking for their second score of the quarter. We've played nearly 8 minutes of it. Frisbee going by there, the Alleycat mascot, trying to get the home crowd back in it. Tell you what else would get this crowd back in it is a score on this possession. Chamberlain, low throw, and Brock comes out of there with it.
Cameron Brock, the veteran, knows not to force something downfield no matter how enticing it might be. I like the decision there by Cam.
There's the throw, back line. Chamberlain has no shot at it, or does he? Oh my gosh, Carson Chamberlain looked like there was no way he was going to catch up to that. And Chamberlain with his 3rd goal of the evening.
And he faked us out in the booth. I thought there was no way on earth he was going to get that disc.
So Chamberlain with 2 goals in the first quarter, now 1 here in the second. That disc looked like it was going out of bounds. And then all of a sudden, Chamberlain said, no, we need this point. I'm going to get it for us.
Yep, and he lands inbounds, too. Absolutely incredible catch from Carson Chamberlain in his season debut. The Alleycats just get happier and happier to have him back, I'm sure. Looks like the wind got knocked out of him there on that one. Sorry,
Yeah,
John.
you're fine. Yeah. It might be he was laying in there, lying down to bask in the glory, but a little bit also he was doing it because probably a little banged up after getting that.
Definitely laid his body on the line for that one.
What a time to get Carson Chamberlain back as Jeremiah Branson fires the pull down to Madison. Into the hands of Vordick. And the Radicals try to get their offense going here. What a huge stall count turnover by them. That led to that. Sample finds the middle of the field to Vordick. Vordick with a high arching pass to Ranabat. He goes towards the end zone, and they're able to get in. Right as the Cat fans were chanting defense, it was too late. And there's Pierre and Robert with another goal on the evening.
Robert having a great season thus far, as we mentioned earlier, and the Radicals O-line just made that look easy. Honestly, I didn't see any throws that were really contested by the Alleycats D-line, and the Radicals just cruising right now.
They are up 10-7. They were down 5-4 at the end of the first quarter, so they have outscored the Cats 6-2 here in this second period. Cats have 9 turnovers that have led to a lot of that for Madison, and Madison's turned it over 7 times as well. Break chances a problem again for Indy. That was the case last week. They only had 1 until the fourth quarter, right, against Chicago?
Yep, that's when Xavier Payne kind of took over and started quarterbacking that line. But guess who's not here tonight? Xavier Payne. So Alleycats really need to capitalize on those opportunities. They've had 8, only gotten 1 off tonight.
Sophia Bontom with a wonderful throw down the field, and Seth Goodeman rewards him by flying in to get that one. And Seth Goodeman, one of the captains on this team, showing exactly why right there.
And that's why he is our player to watch tonight for the Alleycats. And more than that, he's one of the UFA players to watch for the evening. Seth had 5 goals the last time these two teams met, and he's getting off to a strong start today too. The Alleycats captain has gotten quite a bit of compliments from teammates and staff. We mentioned earlier, assistant coach Jalen Baumgartner was just speaking the world of him before the game today, said that no one wants it more than Seth Goodeman.
Also good to see Sophien Bontom with that throw. He's playing in his 3rd game this year out of 7, so it's good for the Cats to get him back. There's the pull down to Madison. The disc taking a long time to get there, which gives the Cats time to set up their defense. Eric Sjostrom comes down with it. Ooh, looked like the disc might have gotten deflected there, but McCoskey able to float over and get it. Now that defensive chant louder and louder for the Cats. Sample fakes and then just takes the short underneath one to Nelson. Robert, double team. Now the throw. Ingham trying to get there. Helps knock it away in time. Ingham says no, sir, batting it out of the hands of Jack Nelson. Could this be a huge break moment for Indy?
Fantastic play by Sam Ingham there, and let's see if the Alleycats can capitalize. This is now their 9th break try.
Low throw didn't help. He was double teamed off the break, and Madison capitalizes on it. Well, that's where the disc going out near the sideline in the corner, which allows them to double team. That didn't help, and Sjostrom able to get the goal out of it.
Yeah, and just a floaty pass into the middle of the field where there was so much traffic. That's not what you want to see first throw off the turn. So Radicals able to maintain the hold there on yet another failed break opportunity for the Cats.
For all levels of residential plumbing repairs and service, call
There's
or text Winters Plumbing.
John Tan, who's going to be
Winters Plumbing.
conducting the poll. And of course, Pierre and Robert with another nice play. He just seems to be everywhere for Madison.
He has been great player on both sides of the ball. Came into tonight leading the Radicals in goals and also in blocks, something you don't see very often.
All right, Squires catches the pole, gives it to Hawkins, finds Bontom. Cats trying to get Madison scrambling. A 3-point lead, not the worst thing in the world, but you really don't want it to get beyond that, especially with the way Madison's been playing.
And just with the missing veteran leadership here from the Cats, a lot of times young players can get emotional and nerves can get high in late game situations where it's close. So you want to try to establish a lead going into Q4 if you can.
There's a huck try, trying to get it to Goodeman. Can he outrun 2 Radicals to get there? Yes, he can! Seth Goodeman with another terrific play. He's fired up, and I can't blame him.
Seth Goodeman having a great game tonight. We've talked quite a lot about him already. Another fantastic play. I love how he puts both hands on the disc to make sure he stops rotation and that the defender has no chance at knocking it out of his hands. And he gets the crowd fired up on his celebration too.
And that was Robert that he got behind and beat. Not an easy thing to do, but Goodeman showing how valuable he is to Indianapolis. That is now his 20th goal of the season, his 9th against Madison.
It almost seems like he has a bone to pick with the Radicals.
I think he does. But that's always been the case with Indianapolis. You've always got a bone to pick when you are playing Madison if you're with the Indianapolis Alleycats organization. These two teams have been rivals a long time. rolling pull, so trying to trap Madison along the sideline here. McCoskey picks it up, goes with a hammer throw. Does that have enough air under it? It didn't, but his teammate was able to come over there and bail him out. That was Nelson who caught the disc to preserve the possession. Less than a minute to play. First half action. And that throw goes wide. Now the Cats have a chance to get within one.
Cats need to settle themselves here. They have 38 seconds left. They don't need to force anything, and I like the timeout call.
And Nathan Busberg realizing he has one timeout left in his arsenal, so he uses it here to get his right line out on the field.
Great opportunity for the Alleycats to capitalize on this break chance, as they have been struggling tonight, only breaking 1 out of their 10 tries. So I like the call to get the O-line on the field. 37 seconds is plenty of time, so they don't need to rush anything. Let's see what kind of play Coach Busberg is drawing up as the O-line takes the field.
Yep, O-line conversion, 62% in this game for Indy. D-line conversion just at 1 out of 5 at 20%.
Just a lot of the Alleycats beating themselves on some errant throws, at least what I'm seeing in the game thus far. Radicals haven't necessarily taken it from them as much as the Alleycats have given it away. So let's see if the Alleycats can capitalize here as the Radicals opt for a double team.
But Hawkins gets rid of it to Squires. Now Bontom down to 30 seconds. Hawkins finds Brock. Wonder if the Cats want to make this the final possession of the half. Bontom, it looks like whatever he gets it, he's thinking about hucking it, but goes underneath to Hawkins here, 12 seconds. Now Bontom again, 9 seconds. Bontom with a hammer throw to the end zone. Low. And it goes off the leg of a Madison player. It's Robert. He tries to go down the field with it. It's way short, and time is out. Yeah, so that last throw will not count. The disc was caught with 0 seconds on the clock. But Indianapolis, trailing by as many as 3, could have been possibly more, but they cut it down to 2. So 11-9, Madison with the lead. So both teams heading towards the locker room, and boy, that is one fired up head coach Jacob Spiro, and who could blame him, right? I mean, he's trying to get his 3rd win of the season over Indianapolis. Madison with a much better second quarter, outscoring the Cats 7-4. So looks like I think we're going to be joined by the assistant coach for the Alleycats, Jalen Baumgartner. You're looking at the sky right now. That's an ominous look at the moment. Of course, they're on the radar. It doesn't really show much in the way of rain or storm activity, but this is Indiana, where a lot of pop-up storms can come up at any point in time. It's been an 80-degree, cloudy and muggy evening. The wind gusts have picked up a little bit at the time we had the first game, right when we first started. Wind gusts were going about 5 to 6 miles an hour. Now they're at about 10 miles an hour. So we're starting to see the wind pick up a little bit, and that's always a major factor. So there's a look at it. 11-9, the lead for Madison at the half. They are scoring 18 goals a game and allowing 18. So they've got to like that first half just from the standpoint that they're on track to get 22. And the Alleycats score 18 and allowing 19. And we've got our coach on the headset right now, and it is Coach Jacob Spiro for the Madison Radicals. Coach, hard-fought first half between you and Indy. What are your overall thoughts coming out of it?
Yeah, it's a sweaty one out there, so, I mean, it's tough to hold onto the disc. It's the heavy air, so there's been a lot of mistakes on both sides, but in general, we came out the better of it, so happy with the energy so far.
What did you think of the way your team played defense? You guys knocked the disc away several times there and helped turn the tide in the second quarter.
Yeah, we got some nice Ds and made some nice individual plays. We were inconsistent with our defensive game plan, so I'd like to tighten that up in the second half.
Anything else come to your mind about what you want to do in the second half?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, that is Jacob Spiro, the head coach of the Madison Radicals. Thank you, Coach. He heads back to the locker room. When we come back, we will have second half action from Kuntz Stadium. Madison 11, Indianapolis 9 in this key Central Division matchup. You're watching Ultimate Action on Watch UFA TV.
This is the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. This is great.
My favorite color is white.
Pink or
teal. That's why I wear these teal earrings.
my favorite color is green.
Green.
Like anything in the
Green.
Green, because it's Alleycats color.
blue-green realm, like a turquoise. My favorite color is purple.
Definitely purple.
Blue.
Blue.
I like there's these protein candies that they're making, and it makes me not feel bad about eating candy, so.
Twin snakes.
I love the OG Kit Kat.
Kit Kats.
Kit Kats, Reese's.
Payday.
They're like, okay, so they're like,
Twix bar is my favorite candy.
you see them a lot at gas stations and like Walgreens and stuff.
Sour Patch Kids, any kind of them.
One sour snake and one sweet snake, and they're like attached together.
Starbursts.
Twix.
If we're talking store-bought, I'm gonna say Snickers.
It's like kind of like a gummy bear. They don't quite have like the sugary, like powdery stuff that like sour snakes have.
If we're talking homemade, my wife makes dark chocolate covered nuts. Big fan, big fan.
They're good. Go check them out.
Best damn drink in the world.
A lot of big players, a lot of big plays. We're gonna do something huge for the league, not only on but off the field. I think there's a lot of good personalities here too, and I'm really excited to bring all these together and cause a storm in the league. Yeah.
The offense is going to be fun to watch. Super hyped up. Defense is going to score a bunch too. So everything.
There's a bunch of incredible players that will bring something new to the table, and that should be exciting.
I think we have a real chance to compete with the top teams both in our division and in the nation, and it's always fun when your home team is one of the best.
The style of play this year is going to be very explosive. So a lot of big plays, both on offense and on defense. I think it's going to be something that's really exciting for fans to watch.
I think we're gonna wear teams down, and I feel like we're really pushing each other at practice. So I'd expect the other teams are playing to look defeated, and for us to come triumphant, that should be exciting to watch for sure.
From everything I've heard with our home games and how we're doing a lot of the events, I think that those are going to be well run, and the game day experience is going to be more than just the game, which itself is going to be a great thing. I think when you have multi-layer enjoyment, it's just going to make the whole thing, you're going to leave and be like, wow, what a weekend.
I mean, this is the most talented group we've ever had in Indy, and this isn't to minimize, the contributions of players of the past, but we've never had a full team that's this competitive.
The Ultimate Frisbee Association is proud to partner with Victory. Elevate your game with Victory insoles and recovery footwear at vktry.com. Delta THC Seltzers. No calories, no sugar, no alcohol. Catch life's moments at drinkdelta.com. Two Town Cider House, bringing the best craft cider for everyday celebrations. Find yours at twotownciderhouse.com. And Disc-It. Round Net meets Ultimate. Disc-It is the must-have portable game for every UFA fan. Get yours at discitgame.com.
Dream vacation spot? Honestly, Rimini, Italy.
Somewhere in the mountains with no one else around.
Nature experience in Patagonia.
I like the beach, I like hiking, really just any time to relax.
Machu Picchu.
I don't know if I really have one in particular.
Hiking in the mountains.
Anywhere in Greece.
I would say going on a cruise.
Laying on a beach and not doing anything.
At my computer, playing video games with no one bothering me.
My favorite movie is Interstellar.
Maybe Inception?
Inception?
La La Land.
The Lord of the Rings trilogy.
The James Bond series, so any James Bond movie before sunrise.
V for Vendetta's up there.
Django Unchained.
The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Hyena.
Something like a hyena.
My spirit animal is an otter.
A hog. Cat.
Koala. I love koalas.
Like a koala, something slow and lazy.
Cheetah, because I want to be fast even though I'm not that fast.
A gecko.
Red panda.
My favorite music is anything country.
Eminem or Big Wild.
Definitely 21 Pilots.
Probably NF.
Drake. Right now I love JID.
Creed is probably my big one right now.
I don't listen to music.
My favorite emoji on my phone is this little troll guy.
I use this one.
Green heart.
I use the fire emoji a lot.
The like nervous one with the sweating droplet right up here.
The one with the tongue out where it's just the eyes and it's just like the...
Favorite emoji is the salute face.
Meat on bone emoji. Maybe the emoji that's like thinking.
All right, before we get to the second half, we will be joined right now by the assistant coach of the Indianapolis Alleycats, Jalen Baumgartner. Jalen, you guys are down 11-9. You're still right there, but what kind of got away from you guys in the second quarter?
I think that we are just trying to figure out a couple of chemistry things still with some personnel changes between offense and defensive lines. We have a solid game plan, and Bus and I still stand by it. I think that that's what we'll be able to execute well on. I think that we're just still striving to make that perfect for the second half.
What do you think are other big keys for the second half that you guys want to accomplish?
I think that we're making plays. I think that we have been able to make some really good grabs, some really good blocks, and I think that we can capitalize on that more in the second half.
All right, that's Alleycats assistant coach Jalen Baumgartner. Jalen, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, guys.
We are moments away from starting the second half. Madison 4-3 on the year. Indianapolis 2-4. A little bit of the first half stats, and we talked about it in the first half, Kelsey. The D-line conversion rate for Indianapolis, not where you want it to be. Certainly, too, Madison's had more cracks at it in the red zone than Indy, and then the 11 turnovers have also been a problem.
Yeah, big turnover game thus far for both teams. You don't love the conversion percentage on really both O-line or D-line, but one big glaring thing I'm seeing is that 1 out of 6 D-line conversion for Indianapolis. They definitely need to clean that up if they want to claw back into the game in this second half. And Madison needs to make sure that their O-line doesn't give the Cats an opportunity.
We're quite a bit of some excellent plays that we saw made in that first half. Seth Goodeman made a couple of nice ones. Carson Chamberlain, of course, was the man that really helped get the Cats going. He got 2 goals in the first quarter. He got 1 in the second. There was one of them. And not only that, did he make those plays, he also took some punishment on the plays where he landed on the first one. Second one was pretty clean. This is the one that I think had everybody in disbelief. It looked like this disc was going to go out of the end zone, but Chamberlain said, no, sir, I am keeping it in the field of play. Makes an excellent catch and gave the Cats a goal that they badly, badly needed. And good news for the Alleycats here. They get the disc to begin the third quarter. Along with Kelsey Sparks, I'm John Herrick. Thank you for being with us, and also a big thank you to Jordan Shue and Sean Walker and cast of many who are helping bring you the images and replays and much more from tonight's action at Kuntz Stadium in downtown Indianapolis. Sofian Bomtom back in. He throws that disc there. Felton waiting on it. Up the field, he gets it to Chamberlain. Brock was trying to make himself free to get down to the end zone. Couldn't shake free of his defender. Now he comes back to the other side to get the disc here. And then goes to the other side with Felton. Bontom leaps to grab it. He's got 1 goal tonight, a couple of really nice passes, and Squires tried to one-hand it and drops the disc.
He just looks away before he sees it all the way into his hands, and that is a costly mistake for the Alleycats.
And now it's one that the Radicals try to capitalize on. Robert. Finding Cunningham. Madison with that 2-goal lead. Yep, Squires tried to go in and get the disc for a steal and ends up committing the foul, so the Radicals get to move it up.
He's definitely wanting to get the disc back as he knows that that turn was his fault just a moment ago, so big energy there from Squires.
Mascalunas putting it in play for Madison, floating it to Cunningham. Cunningham fakes. Sometimes even in this sport, when you get a 2-goal lead or more, it's so hard for the other team to come back. And Madison's trying to make it difficult for the Alleycats here. Throw down. Catch made. And well done there by the Radicals. They were patient the whole way through, and it's Cunningham getting in for his 4th goal of the season and his 1st on the evening.
Radicals start the second half off with a break. You see the mistake there that gave them the opportunity. And the Alleycats not able to really contest the Radicals' throws, and they punch it in. That is their 5th break of the evening on 14 tries. Last week against the Union, that Radicals D-line scored half the points. They scored 7 breaks in their 14-11 win. So they are picking up right where they left off on that aggressive defense, as they already have 5 breaks tonight early in the second half.
There's the throw by John Tan. Low throw off the bounce. Ingham able to pick it up. It did hit the disc. It did hit the ground, which allows him to have a moment to do that.
Worth noting that this line playing offense for the Cats is one of their D-lines, so Coach Busberg gives them a crack at the hold here.
Branson. Ingham. Now Jason Kemp in with it. Looks for Pollard and finds him. Pollard floating it towards the corner, going back, and getting there is one of the Alleycats, Jake Wall. Wall able to fly over and get that one with a little celebration on the end of it.
Great find there from James Pollard as he leads Jake Wall into space, and Jake Wall gets his first score of the evening.
And it's Pollard's 3rd assist of the season, so well done by the 2 of them. And clearly a very good call there by Coach Busberg to get that line out there. They moved it down the field well.
Yeah, Pollard just puts that out into space, floats it perfectly where only Jake can run onto it. Gets a nice clean hold for Indianapolis, and they really needed that one.
Looking at the weather conditions, we're now up to about an 11-mile-an-hour wind. Rain is in the forecast at some point in this hour. There, if you look at the radar, there is a shower south of our location, but it looks like it's making its way here, so we might see some rain, and we'll see how that affects play. Now, if it does rain, they'll keep playing through it. It's only if there's lightning that they'll stop. So and that disc does not go the way of Madison. So big play there. All right. By the way,
from Jason Kemp.
By the way, I believe I called Dante Cunningham instead of Buckingham. My apologies to Dante. So
let's see if the Alleycats can capitalize on this break opportunity. They've only broken once tonight, so they need to string together some breaks now. Jake Wall still on the field. He's the one that hauled in the score just last point.
He is a bag of energy, both on offense and defense. Kemp comes over to get it. Nice catch made by Matthew M. Cats getting it down the field well. Might have a man open. They do. It's Connor Blaylock who makes a leaping grab, and Cat Nation loving that. And everybody come running off the bench for the Alleycats as they cut it down to 1.
There's another look at the D from Jason Kemp as he gives his team the opportunity to set up this second break of the evening. Connor Blaylock getting it done. And there's that break that we just mentioned the Alleycats needed. Need to start stringing some of those together. Great start to the second half from the Cats here.
And that is the third goal of the season for Connor, so good to see him get that. And also along with that goal tonight, he has 33 throwing yards. Sky looking a little more dark and wind starting to pick up a little bit. Rolling pull put down by Pollard, trying to trap Madison on the sideline. Madison trying to figure out who they want to initiate play here. Cats come with the double team. Isaiah Mason, one of the guys applying it. Coach Busberg telling his guys, get your hands up. And the man who puts it in play, Mitchell McCarthy. Radicals able to get out of that initial wave. Now here is the offense being guarded there. Ingham with some good defense there.
Good patience thus far by Madison, not forcing anything as the Cats playing pretty solid downfield defense.
Coming over to get it here is Alexander. He's shadowed by Noah Wall. A lot of youth out there for the Cats tonight with many veterans out. Throw towards the end zone. It's a close play, but it's made by Madison. That was patience at its finest, and it's Jake Carrico doing the very well thought out celebration there. I think he's been practicing that.
Is that called the gritty, John?
I believe it is, but don't quote me on that.
I think it was gritty there from Carrico.
I don't think I'm cool enough to know what it is either. But either way, impressive play by Carrico to make himself available, and well done by the Radicals. They needed to answer that response from the Cats, and that's precisely what they did.
Yet another close game this evening. The last two times these teams met, both this season, the Radicals able to edge out the Alleycats by 1 score. Alleycats wanting some revenge this evening and to stay in the hunt for that second place playoff spot that would get to host a playoff game. Currently, if the season ended today, the Radicals would be second place in the Central Division and would be hosting, you guessed it, the Alleycats.
Right. Rolling pull towards the sideline this time, and Indy's got to work their way out of it. Squires. Cats have to back their way up in their own zone. There's Seth Goodeman. Finds Brock across the middle. Now Felton to Bontemps. Felton going way down there looking for Brock, and I wasn't sure if he was looking for Brock or Bontom. Either way, the disc sails wide of both of them.
Yep.
And that is yet another Alleycat misstep, their 13th turnover of the game.
Looks like a miscommunication. I'm not sure which of his teammates he was aiming for, but regardless, those same third of the field hucks are pretty tough, tight windows, and the miscommunication sets him off there. So Radicals get an opportunity for the break chance.
Mascalunas had the disc, and I think it's a timeout.
Timeout on the field.
Called by Madison. Certainly a very important point here. I mean, they all are, but definitely if you want to get that lead back up to 3. So
yeah, the difference between 2 and 3 just feels worlds apart to me. I mean, if you punch in a break here, you can really crush the Alleycats' spirits a little bit. Obviously, plenty of game left. A score here is not a nail in the coffin, but just the thought of being 3 goals down in the third quarter instead of 2 goals down, it just feels worlds apart. So Coach Jacob Spyro knows that, and he's got his O-line out on the field now.
One of those guys he's got is Jack Nelson. Also out there is Nico Ranabat and Max Sample. Cats counter with the likes of Matthew M., Sam Ingham out there as well. Jason Kemp, who's applying some double team pressure with the help of Connor Concannon. Throw back towards the end zone. And now Madison tries to set things up. Risky throw. By the way, we've already had one Callahan this evening, so that's a rarity. Don't see that in Ultimate every day. Roundabat. In the hands of Sample. This is one of the things I love about the Kuntz Stadium game day atmosphere. Our public address announcer and the defense chant always seems to play a pivotal role, and it's even better when the defense can force a turnover. Alleycats trying to do that here in this pivotal Central Division matchup, down by 2. But Madison's doing an excellent job of playing keep away. Vordic going to the other side. That disc was very close to sailing wide, but saved by McCoskey. Now Sample. Nearly dropped, but hauled in by Vordic. Fans starting to put their umbrellas up. Inside 5 minutes to play. Madison's had the disc here for almost 2 minutes, just really making things hard on Indy. They're getting closer and closer. Roundabout in trouble, but then he gets helped. And did he get across? Yes, he did. So now we are at a media timeout. A pivotal score by Madison. That score there puts them up by 3, their largest of the night. We're back in a moment on Watch UFA TV. One more look at that previous score that we had. Good two-man game there between Nico Roundabout and Ian McCoskey as Roundabout gets in for the score. His first goal of the night, his 8th of the season, and his 4th against the Alleycats. And by the way, 14 goals in this game for Madison. 13 different guys have scored for the Radicals, and 8 different players have scored goals tonight for Indianapolis. But it's pivotal for the Cats to not let this deficit really shrink beyond where it is now. The radar, by the way, showing that storm that we were telling you about looks like it's headed this direction, but sometimes it can split off in two directions and go around us. But either way, we got some certainly dark clouds in the area. If there's lightning, we'll obviously have a delay. If there's not, we will play on. I've called a few ultimate games in rain-soaked conditions, so we'll see if that happens here tonight. I know neither team wants that. But both coaches said to us that they were planning for it and were planning on being ready at all costs. Bontemps catches that lob from Brock. Now Goodeman with it. Goodeman looks and floats it back. Finds Squires. Bontemps slides to grab that one. Now he goes for the end zone. Felton trying to get there, but he's got to out-jump two Madison Radicals, and he cannot do it. He is denied there by Noah Peterson. Peterson just comes down and makes a great play, but then that disc goes wide. Cats get it back. Can they score? Man open, disc in the air for like an hour and a half, and it gets batted away. It just floated up there, all kinds of chaos, but do we have a foul on Madison? Looks like we might have a Madison foul. And that gives the disc to the Cats, and Carson Chamberlain gets to center it up near the goal line.
Let's see if the Cats can capitalize what has been maybe our most chaotic point of the evening with 3 turns back to back to back.
And Hawkins able to thread the needle and find Goodeman. Goodeman with his 3rd score of the night comes at a critical time. Could this be a boost that the Cats get? There was that knockaway in the end zone, but there was contact there, which was why the foul was called. And it's a pivotal one at that, and the Cats get a much-needed goal.
Yeah, wind starting to pick up a little bit, and that disc just hung in the air for what felt like an eternity. But the Cats get to center it on the goal line and find none other than Seth Goodeman, our player to watch.
2 goals for him in the second quarter and another one here in the third. So he has 3 scores tonight, and it is Carson Chamberlain with 3 as well.
And the rain is really starting to pick up here, so let's see if this becomes a sloppy one.
Pollard with the throw. Now this doesn't look like on radar a very long storm. It looks like a pretty quick rain shower, but it is Indiana weather. It's pretty unpredictable. You never know. But folks in Madison, they've dealt with their own fair share of crazy weather, as has everybody in the Midwest this year.
Radicals got it done last week in some crazy weather against the Chicago Union. So they have practiced for this. This is not their first rodeo in the rain.
Pollard putting some pressure on here on Sample. As that defense chant wraps up again. Low throw, knocked away by Davenport. He had been close on a few of them tonight, but he gets that one there.
Absolutely insane layout D from Robbie Davenport, giving the Cats an opportunity to break here.
And they get it! McCarthy with a strike that he throws to Sam Ingham. And the Alleycats are within 1 yet again, thanks to the big play by Davenport.
You see Robbie just laying out chest high to get the D. He's been an Energizer bunny for this team for years. We've had some super fun interviews with him up in the booth after he's been our player of the game. You see there, he just brings the energy to the Alleycats. And the Cats capitalize on that break chance for their 3rd break of the game.
All right, Cats with the disc back. You have to give it back here to Madison. Cats got outscored in the second quarter 7-4, but they have outscored Madison here in the third 4-3. So they're in pretty good position here, a chance to tie it up, but they got to get a defensive stop against Madison. High throw, caught by Carrico. Carrico looking around with Ingham right up in his face. Long throw. That might be wide of the mark, and it is. Break chance for the Cats. All the momentum on the side of the green and white right now.
Look for more and more.
Look, he caught it.
More and more crazy plays as this game goes on. That disc is wet now. The ground is wet. things are going to be a little bit less controlled as most players don't have a ton of experience throwing in the rain.
Matthew M. with that great layout grab to keep the possession alive for Indianapolis, and Coach Busberg deciding to use one of his 2 timeouts here in the second half. I think this is a well-timed timeout at that. So that's good to see that. Good high-fiving there. Connor Concannon, one of the guys coming off. Same thing with M. They're getting Squires, Chamberlain, Hawkins, Goodeman, Felton, and Cam Brock is out there along with Sofiane Bontom. I think the point, the importance of this point can't be overstated. Cam Brock here, Kelsey, who has seen just about every condition you can see in Ultimate because he is the all-time leading scorer in this league. He immediately, as soon as the rain started coming down, went over and got his gloves on, and other guys are starting to get gloves on too. So
really starting to come down here, as you can see. So it's going to be a battle to see who can be more resilient and who can see the disc into the hands of their receivers. Hucks are going to be a lot harder to get up. It's going to be a lot harder to control that disc. If I am Coach Busberg, I'm reminding my team to play some small ball. Look for the open receiver. Don't force anything in these wet, windy conditions. Madison is going to receive to start the 4th quarter, so the Alleycats really need to punch this break chance in.
Also, too, just down the road from here, an Indianapolis Indians game is going on, and that they are delayed at Victory Field. So, okay, they didn't even start. So they were about to start soon, and the start of their game got delayed. We're still playing here. Bontemps leaps up, grabs the disc. Brock was open for a moment, then got quickly covered up. Hawkins had it, and they're saying he took it. You got it taken away?
That was a strip, John. Carter completely stopped rotation of the disc. That is an unbelievably bad missed call. I don't usually call out the referees on air, but rotation was clearly stopped on that disc. That is a strip. But that Radicals get to benefit here as they get the disc.
But also, too, I thought there was contact. I thought they'd at least call a foul. The disc long throw, and boy, did they take advantage of that in a hurry. So a very quick point there by Madison in the rain, and it's their money man and the money time. Anthony Gutowski all smiles after making that big play.
You can see the rotation stop there. Carter does almost a full 360 with the disc. Cannot believe that call was missed, but it opens the door for our player to watch and one of the UFA's player to watch for the week, Anthony Gutowski, to punch in another score. He seems to have a big game every single time these two teams play. The Alleycats have not been able to find an answer for Gutowski over the years. Last time he was in this stadium, he scored 5.
And on the season in total, he now has 8 goals against the Alleycats with his 2 more that he's tacked on tonight. Well, Tan is about to throw. Oh, Coach Nathan Busberg of Indianapolis was giving it to the referee, and the referee just pointing the way of the Alleycat bench. So I think it's a technical foul against Busberg. So because of that, Madison gets to move the disc up even further and have a shorter pull.
Yeah, Coach Busberg not happy about the point prior, understandably. I mean, it was a missed call and a really costly missed call for the Alleycats as they were knocking on the door of another break, but instead, now they're down 2. Coach Busberg really letting the referees hear about it, so teched him up.
All right, the rain is starting to pick up a little bit. The lights are on now here at Kuntz Stadium. Then this does not appear to be a very long storm. It's a pretty short little burst of rain that we have, and then after it goes off, it should be clear the rest of the time. So at least that's what the radar is indicating. There's the pull. The Alleycats trying to get back in things with Bontemps. And he had it knocked out of his hands, or did he just lose it?
I couldn't tell if it was slipped or if there was contact. If there's contact, then that's a call. You're not allowed to do that, but it looked like it might have slipped.
And then there's the throw, and the disc was hanging in the air for a while, but Madison showing their savvy, getting in, and it's Joe Liebforth with his 2nd goal of the season and his 1st of the night for the Radicals.
Things going from bad to worse for the Alleycats on two very, very misfortunate back-to-back points. You see Coach Busberg is not happy.
Neither is Cam Brock, who just stormed off the field. It was 14-13. Alleycats were in a position where it looked like they might possibly tie the game up. And then a missed call where Carter Hawkins had it taken away from him. Not only was the disc stripped out of his hands, but there was contact too. You could have called a foul there as well. They chose not to. And because of that, the Radicals cashed in on the next play, although it was, I will say, a phenomenal throw and catch. And Gutowski gets down for the score. Then it's Joe Liebforth after that. And now it's back to a 3-point lead for the Radicals against their Central Division rival, the Indianapolis Alleycats, who are trying desperately to get another score before we head to the fourth.
I'm starting to see some players slipping downfield as they go to make their cuts. The grass is really wet now on top of the disc, obviously.
Noah Wall slips.
Oh, no.
He might have hurt himself. Oh, no. Yeah, now the question will be, what do they do with this? Do they make the Cats use their second timeout for an injury? He held on to the discs. Okay, so what they're going to do is they're going to let him come out. And then while he comes out, they're letting Madison make a substitution. And Alleycats didn't lose the disc, so they're keeping it. But it's good to see him at least get up and over to the sideline, getting checked out by the trainer. Yeah, those field conditions, like Kelsey said, not ideal. Felton puts it in play. Cats got to hurry. Time winding down. Throw near the end zone, knocked away. I mean, I would argue again, there's contact. I mean, Max Sample reaches up and clearly hit his man in front of him. Could have been a foul on Madison. It's not. And at the end of 3, it's the Madison Radicals leading by 3 at Kuntz Stadium. We're back in a moment to start the fourth on Watch UFA TV.
The Ultimate Frisbee Association is proud to partner with Victory. Elevate your game with Victory insoles and recovery footwear at VKTRY.com. Delta THC Seltzers. No calories, no sugar, no alcohol. Catch life's moments at DrinkDelta.com. Two Town Cider House, bringing the best craft cider for everyday celebration. Find yours at TwoTownCiderHouse.com. And Disc-It. Round Net meets Ultimate. Disc-It is the must-have portable game for every UFA fan. Get yours at DiscItGame.com.
So here was the questionable call there that we had at the end where it looked like Carter Hawkins had the disc and then it swiped away by a Madison defender and Kelson Alexander.
You know, on that replay, I can see that they both had their hands on the disc, which is something I did not catch live. So this is me eating my words and apologizing to the referees. I thought that Carter had that disc cleanly and that it stopped the rotation, but Kelson had his hand on it as well, and then he's able to just muscle it away. So.
But I think the reaction that you saw, though, on the sideline wasn't really as much about the disc. It was more like there was contact, so you would think that a foul would have been called in that situation.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the Alleycats sideline was clamoring for. It could be either one. Mm-hmm. You know, like I said, I thought it was a strip from up here, but regardless, very unfortunate play for the Alleycats.
And Pollard with a very deep pull here, and he gets a friendly bounce, too, to pin the Madison Radicals back deep. And the importance of this point cannot be overstated for Indy to try to come up and get a stop, because if the Radicals get it to 4, that would be almost an insurmountable lead in conditions like this. They're going for it all, and the Radicals getting down there. It's caught. Did he get in? No. Now they do. So the huck to get him down the field. It's now a 4-point lead for Madison, and excellent teamwork on their part.
Yeah, Radicals had to play in conditions just like this on Sunday afternoon in Chicago. So their defense really showed up in that situation, got 7 breaks, and they have 7 breaks on tonight as well. This is an 0-point, though, clean hold for the Radicals.
Just made it easy for Noah Nickel, who got the score from Pierre and Robert. Robert's been in the end zone a couple times. There's Carter Hawkins, and he, like the rest of his teammates, drenched right now. Felton, Bontemps, Squires, Brock, those are just some of the guys out there. Carson Chamberlain, and yes, the downpour. The throw by John Tan. And this was a 14-13 lead for the Radicals, and the Cats looked like they were on the verge of tying it before that play with Hawkins. Squires fakes and fires to the other side. Disc is hanging up in the air a while, and it's knocked away. Again, a lot of contact.
Yeah, Carter Hawkins asking for the foul there, but is not going to get it.
The clock has not started to move. I think that's been, they're going to have to figure that out. I think the referees noticed it, and Madison just called a timeout. So they are now out of them. They use the timeout here. It's probably a good idea. Just, the more stoppage of play, and you get a chance to ride the storm out.
Yeah, and the chance to put up another break on the Alleycats late in this game. Alleycats haven't scored more than 5 points in a quarter, and if they can go up 5 with just under 11 minutes to go, that's going to put the Alleycats in a really tough position in some really tough conditions.
What's it like? I mean, Kelsey, you've played Ultimate a lot. Obviously, we know Jalen Baumgartner and Nathan Busberg been very good friends a long time. They've tried to start club teams together. Baumgartner, a member of the Indy Red before she became an assistant with Coach Busberg. What's the key when you try to play in these conditions to try to fight through things, because it's not easy?
You have to really hit the open person on the field and know that that disc is going to be slick. You've got to see it into your hands so much more than you normally would. Be very focused on the catch and don't force things because you know you have less control.
And that disc is dropped in the end zone. So right when it looked like Madison could get in and punch it even further, they don't get it done. Cats defense stands tall. Now their offense has to get going. They have 1 timeout left if they want to use it. I don't think they want to do that this early in the 4th quarter, but you never know. Wall coming over to get it. Now it's Branson. Again, a lot of young players playing tonight for the Alleycats. They have 15 players that are either not rostered or are considered out, while the Radicals have 13.
Alleycats running out of time here, too. It's not their friend.
And Branson was in trouble, and that is why his coach, Nathan Busberg, decided to use the last timeout of the game for Indy, because he saw that Branson was in some trouble, and that stall count was really getting high.
That's really tough to have to use your last time out when you are down so many breaks. Now you forego the opportunity to switch lines when you have a break opportunity later in the game, and that D-line is just going to have to play out on any break chance that the Alleycats receive.
Well, at one point in the first quarter, the Alleycats had less turnovers and they had more blocks than Madison. But right now, it's Madison with 10 blocks to the Cats' 8, and the Alleycats have 18 turnovers to Madison's 14. So that just goes to show you how much things have changed from quarters 2 through 4. It's Coach Nathan Busberg trying to rally his team. Down by 4, but still a lot of Frisbee to play. Felton's got it. He's going to have to play it near the corner. Not an easy throw, but gets it to Cam Brock. Cam Brock has been held out of the end zone tonight, which is an unusual sighting there. Throw deep. Goodeman trying to get there, leaping for it, knocked away.
Just not able to pull it in those rainy conditions. That's going to slip, but it looks like he is asking for the foul against Gutowski. Not going to get it. See, that's a play that if the disc is dry, Seth Goodeman is going to come down with that every time.
Also, and what a break there for Madison. It looked like Buckingham was going to have it knocked out of his hands, and then he grabs it. Now Gutowski with a rare drop. That you hardly ever see that from him. Cam Brock trying to shake free. He's open in the end zone. The disc thrown to him, and there he is. It's almost like he heard me. Hadn't gotten in the end zone all night, but Brock, Johnny on the spot, saw the disc got dropped and made himself available for the goal.
In these wild and wet conditions, we might be seeing more chaotic points like that one. You see the rare drop from Gutowski after the rare drop from Seth Goodeman. And the veteran Cameron Brock knowing where to be on the turn to pull it in for the Cats. The last quarter of this game is probably going to go by pretty quickly because I'm expecting to see more turnovers from both sides. You've seen how much the disc is slipping around out there, so probably not many stoppages of play. Both teams out of timeouts, so these last 10 minutes are going to go by quickly.
Cats try to trap the Radicals near the sideline. Sjostrom throws out of the double team. And then that one is thrown away. Sample tried to get it to his teammate and airmailed it. Turnover number 16 on Madison to Indiana's 19. And that storm that we just saw looks like it's moved out of the area. Pollard grabs it, hammers it toward the end zone, and he's got a teammate back there for an Alleycats score, and things have changed very quickly now within the last couple of minutes, and it's Isaiah Mason coming down with that, his first goal of the season.
Huge point for the Alleycats as they make quick work of that break opportunity, exactly what they needed, and I'm very impressed by the hammer throw in these rainy conditions. Great work there from the Alleycats, Pollard to Mason to get that break for Indianapolis.
With the approval of Mr. Davenport and talking it over with his assistant coach, Jalen Baumgartner. Two of the biggest rivals in the UFA that have been around a long time. And Madison has won the previous two meetings in this series. A little bit more on Mason's contribution. He was questionable coming into tonight's game. It wasn't even for sure if he would play or not. So good to see Isaiah out there with so many other guys that are missing tonight's action. Matthew M., look at him there. And he's been a factor, especially on defense. And a rolling pull here applied by Branson. That was pretty good because it got it beyond the midway stripe and forcing the Radicals to be a little bit deeper than they'd like. And a double team to start. Low, high arching throw, but had enough on it to get to Mascalunas.
Radicals need to settle in here on offense. They've had a couple turns back to back, but they are still in the driver's seat of this game if they can limit their mistakes.
High throw in the air and somehow caught, but is he down? Yeah, it looks like we have a Radical player down, and again, conditions not ideal. We saw something similar happen to Noah Wall after he caught one, and yep, cramping could definitely be a factor. On top of it being rainy and nasty out there, it is definitely hot too. We were at 80 degrees in the time of the first pull. We've dropped a little bit since then, but it's been hot and muggy, and those hot conditions are going to stick around all throughout this week in Indiana, but looks like it might just be a cramp, so I think he'll be all right. The break chances for Indianapolis, 4 of 17 tonight. At one point, they were 1 out of 10, so they are 3 of their last 7 in that department. Madison is 7 of 19, which is a 37% rate.
Yeah, Alleycats starting to clean up that offense once they get the break opportunity, but hey, same story as last week. They really need to capitalize when they get those chances. Lots of turnovers from both teams tonight. Neither team has had a very clean game as the Alleycats sit at 19 turnovers to the Radicals 16. So very chaotic fourth quarter here, especially with the rain. It is very much anybody's game right now because even the best players out there can make a mistake and drop a disc or let it slip out of their hands in the rainy, wet conditions that we're seeing.
And that was Mitchell McCarthy, who came off the field with that injury, needing help from his teammates. And now, boy, the crowd is as intense as it's been all night, knowing their team needs a stop. Roundabout had to sling it back to the middle of the field. Now he's trying to get open again, and he does, as he takes the disc from Grindy. Madison knows they've got the lead and the clock on their side. Stall count getting high, though. And, yep, contact made. It was accidental by Connor Concannon. He was trying to go for the theft and take it away from Mascalunas, but ends up colliding with him. Now Mascalunas, who gets to move closer to the end zone, trying to find a way to get the disc up there. And the throw, well done. Madison weaved their way through all sorts of conditions there to calmly get it to their high man, Anthony Gutowski, for yet another goal.
4 goals tonight for Gutowski. He had 5 the last time he was in this stadium earlier this season, and he has been a problem for the Alleycats for years on end now. They're able to get it to him in these windy, wet conditions.
Pretty much, go ahead, sorry.
For a timely score to go up 3 late in this game. Again, the Alleycats haven't scored more than 5 points in a quarter up until this point. So down 3 with 7.5 to go.
And also, too, this is the last home game that the Cats are going to have until July 11th. So that's another thing adding to the importance of this game. They play Madison again on July 3rd, but at Madison, and then at Chicago on July 5th. 2 very important games that they will need regardless of the outcome of this one. And then we have, what, an infraction on the pole? Whistle was blown after the disc was let go. So I guess there was some sort of issue on the pole by the Radicals.
Might need to get clarification on it, but my guess is it was either offsides or they took too long to put up the pole.
Either way, it's going to give the Alleycats terrific field position. That's exactly what you need. Clock stopped, and then you get to move the disc up with no time coming off the clock, down by 3. Goodman makes a tough catch in traffic and is fouled by Mascalunas. I'm going to say another thing here. Seth Goodman gets called anytime he bumps somebody on accident, but he doesn't always get the benefit of the other side when he gets bumped. And luckily, he did there. Goodman, who has put up an outstanding season, 21 goals for him.
And a short field is really beneficial to the Alleycats with the conditions that we have right now. Gives them the ability to play small ball just for this last little bit to get into the red zone.
Risky pass. Got to be a foul there. It is. That's about as obvious as it's going to be. Pierre and Robert just runs into Chamberlain. How big has Chamberlain been tonight?
Huge, huge game for Chamberlain in his season debut. Again, he had been struggling with a wrist injury, so that's why he hadn't been able to play. And he is really making an impact in his first game in green this year.
Cats trying to capitalize. And they get it done with Cam Brock across the middle. Right now, both teams just making money plays with their money players in the big time. And Cam Brock with his second goal of the fourth quarter.
And making big plays with those money players, that's really what you need to do in a game like this one. We're late in the fourth quarter. It's a close game. The conditions are far from ideal. So no better to turn to and rely on than the veteran who has been there, done that, times 1,000. Cam Brock been in the UFA since the very first season in 2012. He is the league's all-time leading goal scorer, and second place isn't even close.
Yep. And he might be playing until he's 50 at this rate. I don't even, is there a limit with age and how long you can play in the UFA? I don't think there is.
As long as your body can handle it. Cam takes great care of himself, and he can obviously still get it done. So hopefully the greatest of all time won't stop anytime soon.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't think he ever will at this rate. He always finds a way to come back. Loves the sport, has added so much to it. Radicals trying to play the clock game a little bit. And you can't let that happen if you're Indianapolis. Such a quick score. You did all that work to cut the lead down to 2, and then you let that score go in to Jack Nelson. And that brings us to a media timeout. Madison 19, Indianapolis 16 on Watch UFA TV. All right, back to action quickly here. Important 5:35 and change for both these teams. If Madison wins, they continue to have their stranglehold on second place in the Central Division and would hold the tiebreaker over Indianapolis. If Indianapolis wins, they would go into their game July 3rd against Madison with a chance to get it done and get to second place. But they are in an uphill battle here, down by 3 with just over 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Along with Kelsey Sparks, I'm John Herrick. Thank you for being with us at Kuntz Stadium in Indianapolis on what is a wet Saturday night, and a heck of a knockaway there by Tan. He did a great job. John Tan hasn't played much for Madison, but when he's been out there, he's been executing some really good pulls, and he knocks that one down. And it looks like Cam Brock trying to have a conversation with one of his teammates about maybe where they were supposed to be, because it looked like some kind of miscommunication. And Goodeman knocks that one away. Knocks it away from Max Younga. Alleycats trying to beat Madison on the scramble, but they set up well on defense.
Couple back-to-back big-time plays by both teams. Seth Goodeman, the captain, getting it back for Indianapolis, and they really needed that one.
Hammer throw, man open, caught. Big score for Indianapolis, and who else? Carson Chamberlain for his 4th goal of the evening.
Carson Chamberlain all alone in the back of the end zone. Madison likely baiting a throw, but Jake Felton just fires it in with the hammer. There, we got another look at that big defensive stop by Seth Goodeman. Setting up the Alleycats, dinking and dunking until we get it to Felton, who fires a hammer to Carson Chamberlain, who is all alone in the back corner. Perfect pass. Chamberlain goes down to one knee to get it. And the Alleycats get this game back within 2. There's not much time remaining, so the Cats need quick scores like that.
And that assist by Jake Felton is his 21st of the season. Chamberlain smiling there, enjoying that. And there's a little bit more about his night. 230 receiving yards to go along with those 4 goals.
Felton and Chamberlain, of course, used to be teammates on the Detroit Mechanics, a team folded this season, and the Alleycats lucky to have both guys here in Indianapolis in green. Both having quite the impact on not only the game, but the season as a whole. Of course, Carson's first game is tonight, but expect him to be a difference maker for the rest of the season as Jeremiah Branson gets ready to pull.
Well, nobody had a tougher start to the year schedule-wise than the Alleycats. You have the most difficult schedule in the UFA, a team of mostly new players to begin the year. You had to play Minnesota twice, who's the best team in the league, Madison twice, and then Chicago. And in 2025, their combined records were 28-8. So your new team, new coach, starting over, brutal start to the season. And now the Cats are going to have 5 games after this one to try to make a push to the playoffs. And the Alleycat fans are trying to will them to victory right now. Under 4 minutes to play. The rain has stopped, but the field is obviously still wet.
And the Radicals are not in any hurry to move the disc downfield as they opted for that super dump a second ago. They know that the Cats' back is against the wall in regards to time, so look for them to hit the open receiver if it's there, but if they can just reset it to their handlers over and over, that's what they're going to do.
That's certainly what they're trying to do here. They've had the disc for nearly a minute on this possession.
Cats need to be super tight in the handler space. Do not let those reset throws off without a fight.
Throw to the other side. Sample comes over to get it. Now, back in play. Radicals taking their time. Sample with it, center of the field. Now it's McCoskey who had it across the middle of the throw. And we had there was a collision, and what do we have? They're calling it a goal, but was there a foul before that? Either way, they wipe it off, say goal for Madison, and Gabe Vordick is the one who pays it off for the Radicals.
Just under 3 minutes in what has been a tight game, really, all the way through. Something we've come to expect from these two teams as we get another look at the score here.
Yeah, that collision looked like it was between Branson and M. They looked like they just ran into each other, and that just created the open space. And it's kind of just been the story of the night. Right when you think the Alleycats are going to find a way to cut it down or get it to within one or possibly tie it, just an inopportune moment and big execution made by Madison. And that's kind of been the story of the season when these two teams have played. Madison has just made a few more plays in the most crunch time. And as Kelsey said, the Cats are running out of time as the pull goes out of play. Squires chases it down, but since it went over on that side, he has to play it from that sideline against pressure. Goodeman makes the grab. And unfortunately, the Cats are in a position where they have to try to huck it and huck it quickly. Their huck percentage tonight, 6 out of 11, which is 55%. And the Cats turn it over. Buckingham gets it. The Radicals have it back. And now they can play the clock game. Up 3 with just over 2 minutes to play. Neither team with a timeout left. And the Radicals are getting closer to a third victory of the season for them over Madison. And contact and a foul called against the Alleycats allows the Radicals to move the disc up.
And with a win tonight, Madison would lock in that head-to-head matchup against the Alleycats, going up 3 wins. So no matter what happens when they meet in Madison next week, if we're looking at tiebreakers for playoff seeds, the Radicals will have the edge with a win tonight.
Last home game of the season for the Cats is against the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds on July 11th. Thunderbirds are 2-5 coming into this weekend. High throw. This is a possession that you're getting exactly what you want if you're the Radicals, and miscommunication there on defense clearly. And they lost Gutowski, and Anthony Gutowski scores yet again for the second time here in this fourth quarter, putting this one out of reach for Indy.
Alleycats upset that they didn't get a stall call on that one as Kelson Alexander held the disc for what felt like a while. Alleycats asking for it, didn't get it. So Anthony Gutowski gets his 5th goal of the evening, matching his number that he had the last time he was in Coons Stadium here in Indianapolis.
So with 5 goals tonight, Gutowski has 26 on the season, and 11 of those 26 have come against Indianapolis. One minute, 14 seconds to play. Alleycats waiting on the pull. Here it is. And at this point, just trying to get anything you can to try to make the result look a little bit better. But again, it should be worth mentioning, the Cats had 15 players either considered not rostered or out tonight. So one of those being Xavier Payne, who helped solidify the win over Chicago last week, and the long throw by Pollard is offline and taken away in the end zone. Leaping grab made by Jake Carrico. Well done by him. 40 seconds to go. Radicals are going to be 5-3 on the year. These two teams are going to play each other again next week at Madison. And the Alleycats haven't had that weekend yet where they've had to play one game on a Friday and another game on a Sunday. A lot of teams in the UFA have had to do that already. It's the Alleycats' turn to do that next week as Madison just plays keep away here. So it's game at Madison on July 3rd, then at Chicago July 5th, and then back home July 7th as that one is dropped. And one thing that is nice for the Alleycats that they did get earlier tonight was a Callahan, which was one of the high moments in the first quarter. Cats trying to get one more score before the end of the game. 2-1. Branson throws it, but did he get it off in time? No. That does it. And the Madison Radicals, in a battle between these two teams, get it done for the third time of the season over Indianapolis. And the rain comes down, plays a role in it, but the Radicals able to persevere and fight through it and overcome 17 turnovers. Indianapolis with 22 giveaways. So it's a tough one that had to happen that way. Of course, Frisbee, the Alleycat mascot, trying to cheer everybody up as the handshake line goes on. Of course, two rivals, but of course a lot of respect between them. And I think a lot of credit has to go to head coach Jacob Spiro for Madison. The former head coach Tim DeBile, who's now one of his assistant coaches, and then Ben Gagnier-Maynard, who is another one of the assistants. Those guys have been together a long time.
And
Certainly go ahead.
And the Radicals proved yet again tonight just how scrappy of a team they are, as Gutowski's getting flagged here for our post-game interview. We'll have him in a second. But this is back-to-back games for Madison where they've had to really dig it out in the rain, and they have relied on the backs of their D-line. Last week getting 7 breaks, half of their points. This week, 8 breaks, not quite half of their points, but a notable number for sure. So plenty to be happy about if you're a Madison Radicals fan. They also widen the gap between themselves and Indianapolis, as the Radicals are currently sitting in second place in the Central Division with nobody really challenging them at the moment. Second place will host third place in the first round of the playoffs on the road to championship weekend, which will take place right there in Madison, Wisconsin, on their home turf.
And now we have the man of the hour, Anthony Gutowski, for the Madison Radicals. Anthony, you got it done here tonight. Several goals. You guys fight through all kinds of rain and rough conditions. How are you guys able to get this one to come out your way?
I mean, we've been working super hard throughout this whole year. Ever since game 1 against Indy, we knew Indy was going to be our toughest challenge of the year. Like, we have to take 3 out of the 4 games if we want to have a home playoff spot, and it's really nice to do that. We just had a huge rainy game on Sunday, which I really think helped us in the rain today. I had a slippery drop, but I didn't have my lucky glove on, so I'll blame it on that.
What were you guys saying to each other after the first quarter? Because it seemed like in the second quarter, that's where things really started to turn into your favor.
I mean, coaches say this all the time. You know, Indy's missing a lot of their top guys. It's easy to come in here and think that they're not as high or as good as they are. I mean, everyone here is a pro. They're all good for a reason. I mean, we got to take them seriously as everyone else, and I feel like we just came off a little slow at the start because we just underestimate them, and I feel like during the second quarter we really locked it in, and we got everything set in stone.
Anthony, you guys are 5-3 through 8 games. You got 4 games left. What's the key for you guys down this home stretch?
I think one of the biggest keys is to have a huge home presence. I mean, our next 3 games are all home games, and then we have our last game against Minnesota against a huge crowd. I think we have a huge crowd in these next 3 games in a row. We have some, I wouldn't say easier opponents, but opponents that we've beaten. I don't know. I think we just play hard these next 3 games and play hard against Minnesota to fight for potentially 1 seed in the division. But yeah, just went out and try hard.
That's Anthony Gutowski. Right. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us. Go celebrate with your team.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Anthony. What a job he did. 4-year man for Madison now with 25 goals on the year. A look at the final stats. And again, Kelsey, the Cats just 50% on that conversion rate for Hucks, and they were 4 of 19 on break chances tonight. When you're at home and you've got all these playoff ramifications, you got to find a way to get that done. But then again, when you're going up against the likes of Anthony Gutowski, it's not easy.
I feel like Anthony Gutowski is our player of the game every single time the Radicals come to town. So congratulations to Gutowski and the rest of the Radicals. But yeah, focusing on the Alleycats' big story of this season, they really need to clean up those D-line conversion opportunities. Got to capitalize on the break chances.
Big thanks to Kelsey Sparks, my partner, and thank you to our entire crew led by Jordan Shue. I'm John Herrick from Coot Stadium saying so long. Madison wins it over Indianapolis tonight, 21-17. You've been watching Ultimate Action on Watch UFA TV.